Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. It is part 9 of this video series about vSphere 5.5, VMware vSphere 5.5. In this video we're gonna go over basic storage concepts. We'll be installing Openfiler as a SAN server. We'll be adding this, we'll be carving out LUN within Openfiler, then we'll be adding those LUNs to ESXi host, and later on we'll be doing storage configuration right from vCenter. So let's start with our environment. Within our environment we have a vCenter, ESXi1, ESXi2, ESXi3. I have Openfiler already installed, but for the sake of this recording I'm gonna install Openfiler right from scratch and do all of the configuration from scratch. So if you're new to Openfiler, Openfiler is an iSCSI SAN server in which simulates iSCSI SAN. It is very Openfiler is an excellent iSCSI server for a test lab, small test lab environment. Although it comes as a licensed version as well, we'll be using a free version of Openfiler. So in order to install the storage server, we'll need to create a new VM. Now when we are creating a new VM, you need to provide the ISO. I've just downloaded it from Openfiler website. You can easily download it from Openfiler. Just Google it, download free Openfiler. It will take you to right to this link. This is 2.9 version. You can use any version, doesn't matter. Provide the ISO and next, and here select Linux and then select other Linux, or you can, in some cases, you can use Ubuntu Linux as well. So let's go with Ubuntu Linux, and next. It automatically takes 20 GB, that is fine. Next and next. So we have provided the ISO, space is there. All we need to do is power on this Openfiler server. As soon as it starts, it will ask you a few questions here. Now the most important question within this complete installation is the setting up of a custom IP address. If you don't set up a custom IP address, then it will automatically take the IP address, especially from VMware network, which won't work for our environment, as our subnet that we are using is 192.168.100. so we're gonna use one of the IP address from the same subnet. So it will stop here, and then we'll press next, next, and yes, and next, chose yes. So here, as you can see, I've not changed anything, just press yes 2 times and then OK. But here I need to edit this IP address. So it is set to take IP address from DHCP. I need to change it to set up manual IP address, and that IP address should be from your own subnet. My subnet is this, and I'm gonna choose 180 IP address. My prefix is 24. This is subnet mask. You can write a complete subnet mask or prefix, both ways it will work. I'm gonna disable IPv6. I'm gonna not use this, and next. Here you can assign a name for your Openfiler server. So here I'm gonna write the same name, OP. So this is Openfiler01 dot my domain name. It is not necessary, but if later on you want to access Openfiler through DNS, so in DNS we'll be creating the same record, and here the same settings will already be there. For the gateway in VMware Workstation, our gateway is 1, and primary DNS server is my Active Directory server here. IP address is fine. Let's check one more time. IP address Ethernet 0 is fine. DNS name and everything is good. Next, next. No need to make any changes, but here set up the password. So I'm gonna use a standard password, P capital password 1. next, and next. Now it will take few minutes and do the install. After that, it won't ask anything, it will just finish, do the complete install. So I'm gonna pause the video. As soon as the installation is done, then I'm gonna resume. Okay, so it took about 3 to 4 minutes, and the installation is complete. It is now asking for reboot. And we're gonna just reboot this machine. As soon as it is rebooted, there are a few things that we need to verify. The very first thing that we need to verify is the IP address. If IP address is correct, then we'll do the rest of the configuration right from vCenter. So just like vCenter appliance, we were configuring the vCenter appliance from the web. Openfiler is also configured from the web, from another Windows server or from any other server that has a browser. But once it is started, so the IP address that I chose for this was 180. While this is starting, let me go back to vCenter, open a browser and create a new browser. And actually I know the URL. The URL will be https:// and the IP address of the Openfiler server and port number 446. Now we'll verify this. I won't press enter until this is completely started. So here it is started, Openfiler, and this is https 192.168 and 446. You need to use exact same URL and make sure that this IP address is from your subnet, just like your all other IP addresses. If it is not, then you won't be able to access it. So once this is done, and you go back here and then connect. As soon as you press enter and the server is on the same subnet, you need to also make sure that this is on the same subnet NAT as your vCenter and all your other servers, then you'll be able to access it. So here, press this, and it is trying to connect to Openfiler. Now as soon as it is connected, the default username is Openfiler and the password is password1 that I configured during the install. It is connecting, so Openfiler is all installed. We don't have to do anything here. Everything now needs to be done from here. Now here on vCenter, once it is connected, it takes it to the screen, and here the default username is Openfiler, and password is the password that we configured, or default password is password1. So it is Openfiler. And now, okay, so now let me try again. Openfiler. Let me check the default password, which is just a password. Okay, that's not the one. Openfiler and just simple password. Openfiler and just password. If this doesn't work, then I'm gonna use the same password. Okay, so it took the default username and password, and the default username and password is Openfiler. Username was Openfiler and password is password. This is username and the password is password. Remember this. Although I made a custom password, but it didn't took that password. So guys, this is my Openfiler, and this is how Openfiler is installed. Now within this Openfiler, we're gonna create disk and LUNs. For now, in this server there is nothing, and in storage in terms of so far we have just installed Openfiler. Now we need a separate disk in this, and that will be used for LUN as a disk partition, or a LUN for ESXi host, and that will be used as a shared storage within our vCenter for ESXi host. So let's start with that. So the very first thing is Openfiler is connected. It is verified that we can connect. Username and password is correct. IP address is correct. Everything is fine. Now let's start working with storage. So first of all, on Openfiler, go and add a separate disk. So how do you add a separate disk? Go to Settings, and then go to Add. It shows me only one disk. I'm gonna create another disk, which is 20 gigs in size. Let's say this one is 40 gigs. Since this is all thin provisioning, so it's fine to assign whatever space you want. Otherwise, if you're doing thick provisioning, allocating space right here, then you need to make sure you should have enough space on your physical disk. So I've added one disk. Let me add another disk. So, or let's work with one disk for now. So I've just added one disk here. So now I can see two disks, and here if I go to my Openfiler, in order to make sure that these disks are there, we need to go into system, actually not in system but volume, and within volumes I need to go block devices. Within block devices, this will show you how many disks are there. So it is loading. It might be a bit slower in some computers, so just give it some time. So here it shows me too. This is the disk that I've just added, 39.99, and this was the first added. This will be, I'm gonna create the first disk partition or LUN. But before that, let's do some basic configuration on Openfiler. So disk is added. So we added this disk, and here in block devices, which is part of volume, the disk is here. Now the next thing that we need to do, first of all, go into services and start this service called ESXi target server. This one, ESXi target server, enable. Once it is enabled, make sure it is running. So start the service. It is running. You might also need to later on, if you're doing NFS, making NFS share, then enable this service as well and start. But for our exercise, we're gonna need only ESXi target server, and it should be running. Secondly, go to systems, and here make sure that your network has access to this server, this storage server. These all systems should be able to access this. In order to do this, we'll make a network. So canaps net, and here make sure that you're assigning a complete subnet .0. Always remember, this is 192.168.0, not some specific IP address, but it is representing the complete network. And here I just need to use a subnet mask of 255, this, and it is a share update. So this is updated. One more, make sure that this is canaps net. It is a complete subnet. Some students try to configure some specific IP address. No, this has to be a complete subnet. Secondly, we need to go into so system is done, service is started. Now let's carve out LUNs. How do you do that? You need to go into volumes, and within volume we need to go into, first of all, within volume we need to go into block devices. Within block devices, select the disk that we need to create LUN of. So we have decided not to work with the system. Here it has a system partition. If you view, it already has 3 partitions. These are the system partition for Openfiler or Linux. I'm gonna use this. There are 0 partitions on this. So select this and create partition. Now when we create partition, it says it is not being used at the moment, so I just clicked over there one more time. I'll go to block devices, and within block devices I'll select the disk that I need to choose, that I need to create LUNs from. So this is the disk, and here I need to create a physical volume. Start with cylinder 1. I can choose and create the complete disk, but guys, I would highly recommend to leave out some space. So instead of using the complete disk, I'm using 5000 and leaving out 22.1 just for log files or for some temporary space. Now this takes out just 2 gigs. It will give me total this partition of 38 gigs. So first of all, our first partition is created. Now as soon as your partition is created, secondly what we need to do is to add volume. When you go create add volume, it will first create a volume group. So here we'll create a volume group called canets VG1. This is volume group 1, and we'll select the partition we just created, add volume group. Right after that, so once this is done, and right after that what we're gonna do is we're gonna add that volume. So right here we'll go name it. So this will be LUN1. Description can be canets disk partition 1, and here we're gonna use the complete space. So use the complete space and change this to block. Once this is all done, so this is partition was created, we created a partition, then LUN is created from that partition. Lastly, we need to go to ESXi target and then add this. Once this is added, all we need to do is to go to LUN mapping, map this LUN, and go to network, allow this network to allow, make sure it is updated. So it is updated, no need to do anything. So here allow, here LUN is mapped, and here it just shows the information. So that is it. Now the LUN is ready to be presented to ESXi host. Now I'll go to ESXi host 3, which is here, through a web client. So this is my host. So within the host, so part 1 was, so we installed Openfiler, we added a disk, and then we configured the LUN, and now we're gonna add that LUN to this ESXi host 3. ESXi host 3 has only one data store, which is its own data store. It does not have access to any SAN LUNs. So for that we need to go into, so again going into this host and cluster, select the host. Once it is selected, we need to go into storage. Within storage, the very first thing we need to do is to add the ESXi adapter. So here there is no adapter. So all I need to do is, this needs to be done on all ESXi hosts only the first time. So I'll go add software ESXi adapter. Once it is added, so make sure it is here, it is still not, and it is now added. So here it is. Here is the adapter. Once the adapter is there, the second thing, select the newly added adapter, go to targets, and within target it's nothing, just add the IP address of the storage server. So my storage server is 180, and leave the port as is, enter. If your vCenter has access to the storage server. So due to recent changes, we need to rescan the storage adapter. So it is added. Now all we need to do is go to devices. Devices is empty. There should be the disks that it should be able to see the LUN that we just created, but it won't. Why? Because we need to rescan the storage. So here, go to storage, devices. Within the storage devices, it shows me the local storages of this host. So on this host, these are local storages. One is CD, the other one is a local disk. So all I need to do is first this, rescan disk. It will scan for all types of storages. Now sometimes it won't appear right away, so give it some time so that it can, and in some cases we need to rescan few times before you'll be able to see the LUN within this host. So here is the LUN that we just created, which is Openfiler 36 GB. Now this is a SAN LUN that is added to the host. Going back to storage adapter, if we go to devices now we'll be able to see that LUN here within storage adapter, which is connected to ESXi adapter right here. Here LUN is configured, and within storage devices I can see this. And now the last part that I need to do is to format this disk. So within storage, for this one, let me see. So within ESXi host, I need to go to let's go back to home. So LUN is a raw disk that is added. We still need to format it to make it usable to store VMs. So here, let's go to storage. And we don't see our newly added LUN. Why? Because it is not formatted. And let's go back to home, go to hosts and clusters. Within hosts and cluster, go to the host here, right click on host, and then click new data store. So new data store should be able to see the new raw disk and format it. So here, next, and it will be VMFS, next. So this is the new disk that I've added. I'll name it SAN LUN. SAN LUN 3. Next, because there are already two LUNs added, so I'm gonna add the third one. Next, I'm gonna use the complete space to be formatted. Next, and finish. So now this disk will be formatted and that LUN will be usable. Now one last point here is that we need to do the same. We need to add this Openfiler LUN on all the 3 ESXi hosts. It is now added to this. We need to add it to this and this in order for this LUN to be used in vMotion, DRS, and everything. Now just to make sure, if you go here and go to storages, within storage we can see this LUN. This LUN is empty since it is a newly added LUN. So this is where it shows that it has no files. This is a default folder, just a system related folder. We don't need to do anything here. So this is, guys, how we work with storages. So in this video we went through installing Openfiler. We installed Openfiler, we configured it, and then we added a storage, carved out LUN, added that LUN to one of the hosts. Guys, I would highly recommend to redo this lab few times in order to be comfortable with all these concepts. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.